everyone. My name's Sally, and I'm from Life in Colour Coaching, and I make lots of videos to help you give you more information about how your brain works or how your young person's brain works, so we can better understand who we are, our neurotype, and really practical adjustments or strategies that we can use on a daily basis just to make life that little bit easier. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoy the video. Hi, everyone. In this video, I'm going to be talking about three different things and the intersection between these three things: self-determination theory, predictive coding, and intolerance of uncertainty. My husband and I used to joke that we had this superpower. We'd walk into a pool or a playground with the kids or any public space, and somehow other people would start packing up and leaving. We'd called it clearing the space. We thought it was pretty funny at the time, and we've laughed about it a lot since. But we were actually wrong about what was going on. When I actually looked more closely at what we were doing, it wasn't luck, and it definitely wasn't our kids being terrible or poor behavior or naughty. It was actually self-determination theory in action. Three needs that every human has: autonomy, competency, and relatedness. We as parents were actually meeting all three. We just didn't realize it at the time, and we didn't have the language for it at that time. Self-determination theory is a psychology framework, and it says that humans have three basic psychological needs. And when these are met, we function better, we feel better, and we're more motivated. Those needs are autonomy, so having a sense of control and choice; competency, so feeling capable and effective; and relatedness, so feeling connected to others or the activity or the environment. It's not about being pampered or getting everything you want. It's about the conditions that people need to really and truly and actually thrive. And it turns out, without ever naming it or being aware of it at that time, that's exactly what we were building for our kids. Every time we picked a 7 a.m. Sunday morning at the park rather than 12 o'clock on a Sunday. And I know the idea of 7 a.m. doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun, but hey, we'd already been up for 3 hours, so didn't make much difference. So let's unpack these three areas a little bit more. Autonomy. So we chose when to go, not when everyone else went. We picked quieter times. So we were controlling the environment before we even arrived. And we always had a set finishing time before we walked in. It was important that we as parents didn't get greedy. We needed to get out while the going was good, so end on a high note. So we didn't want to get to the point that the wheels started to fall off and we did the walk of shame out. You know what I'm talking about. That's autonomy at both ends. Choosing the start, choosing the exit, instead of letting the outing decide for us and letting the wheels fall off. Competency is our second area. So we went after sleeps or after meals, so they had full bellies. We went with a ton of snacks packed for topping up their hungry bellies. And that wasn't fussiness. That was setting the conditions for success. We also kept things low demand. So we made sure we didn't pose or barrage them with a number of questions. We weren't constantly checking in. We provided space for our kids to just be. And honestly, we had to make sure that we were regulated too. And one of those things, coffee. I'm going to be honest, coffee is my vice. So two relatively regulated adults and 3, relatively regulated, fed, and rested kids with fewer people around. That combination meant we actually felt capable of having a good time instead of white knuckling it and doing, like I said before, that walk of shame outside that park gate. Our third area is relatedness. So, family time was and always will be still the goal. Connection was still fundamental to what we were trying to do. But we just got there through what was predictable and achievable for our kids and our family, instead of pushing everyone to cope with an unrealistic, overstimulating version of fun. We connected at their level, not at the level a busy lunchtime on a weekend demanded. So here's the bit that ties it all together. Predictability isn't us being pedantic or rigid. For a lot of neurodivergent brains, uncertainty is a genuine load. Our brains are constantly trying to predict what happens next, and not knowing is exhausting. A set start time, a set finish time, a known plan. That's not control for control's sake. That's working with our neurotype instead of against it. So next time you're planning something, whether it's a birthday party or a school holiday or a trip to the shops, ask yourself 3 questions. Can I control the timing and the environment? That's autonomy. Now, I always come back to what can we control and what can't we control, because we can't control everything. Have I set my child or myself up to actually cope with this? That's competence. And is there a way to still connect, even if it doesn't look like everyone else's version of fun? That's relatedness. Now, you don't need a psychology degree to plan this way. You just need to give yourself permission to do it your way. I do want to go a bit deeper here, because predictability and what we're talking about, it isn't just a nice to have. There is real science behind why it matters so much. Your brain doesn't just react to the world, it predicts it. This is called predictive coding. Constantly, without you noticing, your brain is generating a model of what's about to happen based on everything that you've experienced before and comparing that model to what actually happens. Now, when the two match, everything feels smooth and effortless. But when they don't match, that's called a prediction error. And your brain has to stop, notice the mismatch, and update the model. That updating takes so much real cognitive effort. For a lot of autistic and ADHD brains, that mismatch signal is really loud. Some researchers describe it as the brain giving too much weight to prediction errors, or having a harder time filtering out which mismatches actually matter. Either way, the practical result is the same. Unexpected things don't just register as mildly surprising, they register as a genuine spike in cognitive load. This is also where intolerance of uncertainty comes in. It's one of the most consistently reported experiences in autism and ADHD research, and it's not the same as being a worrier. That's a really important distinction. It's a physiological response to not knowing what's coming. How long are we staying? Who else will be there? Will it be loud? What will we do first? What will we do next? Will there be a meltdown? And will people stare? When you can't predict the answers, your brain has to hold all of these possibilities open at once. And that's exhausting before you've even left the house, probably before you're even out of your pajamas. So when we picked a quiet, very early Sunday morning when we set a finish time before we even walked in, when we packed snacks and kept our questions to a minimum. We weren't being fussy and we weren't being rigid. We were reducing the number of prediction errors our kids and us would have to process. Fewer people means fewer unpredictable variables. A known finish time means the brain isn't left guessing when this will end. Snacks and rest mean the body isn't adding hunger or fatigue on top of an already busy nervous system. Predictability for a lot of neurodivergent people isn't about control for its own sake. It's not about avoiding anything that isn't within our control. It's not about shutting out the world. This is really important. It's about giving an already hard-working brain fewer surprises to process, increasing our tolerance for uncertainty in a safe and manageable way so there's more capacity left over for actually enjoying the moment. So next time you're quietly planning around nap times, packing snacks that nobody asked for, or leaving before anyone melts down, that's not you being precious. That's you meeting real needs and working with your family's wiring instead of fighting it. I hope you found this video useful. And if you have any comments or reflections, I would really love to hear them. So please feel free to reach out. Thanks, everyone. Bye.